Thank you for coming out today to our Blueprint for Justice. We are truly grateful for you being here, mothers who came near and far. We pray that this panel session will give you the opportunity to gain some information that you may not know or that you may not have in your toolkits. Our goal, again, is to campaign and to help families who have been victims of police brutality as well as community brutality. And I want to encourage our mothers. You may be fighting for justice for your child, and it may not be rendered as soon as you would like it to be rendered, but don't give up the fight. Continue to fight for justice. And I'm a witness for that. It took me 15 years to obtain my son's cell phone, which I just obtained this past week. And so I want to encourage you to not give up. If you are working to try to get your child's property or whatever it is that you're working to try to get accomplished regarding the loss of your child, don't give up that fight. Now, I want to introduce Angela to you. I had the opportunity to meet Angela some years ago. Angela is from Alabama, and we had an opportunity to meet. Angela, her son, Ulysses' story was faced in Alabama. It was on the news. It was in the media. So, Angela, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
I'm Angela Williams. I'm Ulysses' working mother. In December 2017, Troy Police Department literally kicked him in the face and repeatedly punched him in the face. A lot of people say he looked like, if you ever heard the story, Emmett Till, that what he was looking like. His face was disfigured. And to this day, I'm still fighting. 5 years. They still fight. So that's what we're going through.
And I had a cousin, he was a pastor in Alabama, who, when Angela and them took to the streets, my family was able to be out there champion, trying to get justice for her son. So, Angela, your son survived this tragic event. You said in the film that the police didn't kill him physically, but emotionally, it killed him. Can you explain to us what that means?
When this happened to my son in 2017, what I meant by that, they didn't kill him physically, they killed him emotionally, because it's like his spirit was dead, like the spirit to keep on living, giving up on everything. So that's what I mean about that. They didn't kill him physically, but mentally they killed.
And it's so important. We will have someone who will share with us concerning internal trauma, concerning the mental health challenges that one may face when they are brutalized at the hands of those hired to protect and serve. And not only those hired to protect and serve, but even those community violence that some of our young men and our young women have faced. So why don't you share with us some of the first steps that you took when you made up in your mind and your heart that you were going to fight for justice for your child?
The first step was, after I got myself together, they was transporting him to Birmingham, Alabama, which was like 2.5 hours away from Troy. So me and my oldest son got in the car. We were headed to my mama's house to let her know about it. We was headed to Birmingham. So I took a picture of my son, and when I posted on Facebook, I knew nothing about going viral, nothing. I just wanted the people in Troy, Alabama to see what had went on in Troy, and it ended up going viral. So it exposed Troy for police brutality. He was only 17, so I was headed up to the hospital, and my son was like, "Mama, do you know what?" I said, "What?" He said, "It don't went viral." I said, "I don't know what viral is." He said, "Everybody in the world sees it." I said, "Well, that's even better, because everybody need to know about it."
So tell us what happened to the police after they brutalized your son.
Nothing. They say it was justified, and he works for Alabama State Troopers, so he just moved to another unit.
I think that's one of the reasons why it's so important for us to ensure that we are coming together like this in these settings to work to get different laws, different regulations, different rules changed, to work to get that qualified immunity. I think some of the mothers in the audience, we've talked about that before, ensuring that officers also, when they are fired from one police station, that they cannot go back to another one and get hired. And so it's very, very important for us to make sure that we are working to get these laws changed and that we are not silent about the laws. Oftentimes what happens is many of us don't speak up until it happens to us. And so we encourage people to speak up now and don't wait till someone knocks on your door. So Angela, tell us what is the next steps in regards to obtaining justice for your son?
We've been in a civil suit for like 4 years, well, 5 years, and they hadn't came up back for court yet. They don't want to show the body cam, the dash cam videos, because I've been saying it from the jump, it's 3 sides to a story. It's the officer side, it's my son's side, and it's the video that tells the truth. And in the state of Alabama, they don't have to release it.
So that tells us that that is something that can be worked on in Alabama to have something proposed, right? And something implemented to cause it to be a requirement for the officers for Alabama to give up the videos, right?
They got a thing. They just had released something, but it's some kind of clause in there. They still don't have to release it. Like, they're supposed to give it to the family of the victim or his family, close family member, the videos. But they still don't have to. It's by each police station what they advise that they want to do. So it's still saying that you can get it, but still not giving it to you.
I believe in it. I know that we are having an attorney who will come and talk to us who is an expert in the field. And actually, my attorney was working with a family in Mobile, Alabama, who was killed by the police there. So I think what that's saying to us is if only certain police stations have to give it up, that something has to be implemented statewide that would be a requirement for them to give up the videos. And that's where it takes you and I to come in and to fight to implement this change. And through our conversation here, it helps to inform other people, and it gives them the knowledge and an understanding of what else is needed that we could do here and that they could do, the community could do as a whole, to ensure that Angela's son gets the justice that he deserves. And many of us who have lost our children, the justice that we deserve would be for our child to be here. And so because our children are not here, we still have an opportunity to champion with Angela to help her to ensure that Alabama state laws are changed so that if someone else is beaten by the police, they will be able to see that body cam in a certain amount of time. So what we want to do now is there questions from the audience that Angela may be able to answer, or you have questions regarding the case, or you have questions regarding what you can do to help Angela get the justice that her family so deserves.
But one of the things, Angela, I will share with you is I have been in this fight for over 25, well, going on 25 years. My son, Gary Hopkins Jr., was murdered in 1999 in Prince George's County, Maryland. And I think you have to continue to fight. And as Wanda has said, keep sharing your story, keep bringing others on, because again, there's power in numbers, there's power in our voices. I think a lot of folk sit back and wait for it to happen, as Wanda has shared. But that, again, that is why it's so important. I think one of the things we need to also consider doing is not just looking at Alabama, but I guess once you start there, but look at what we can do on a national level. Because if they do this in one city, one state, one county, trust and believe, we know by the numbers, over 1,100 are murdered every single year. Praise God for your son that he didn't lose his life, but it's going to require all of us to be involved. I applaud you for what you have done, and it is a story of Emmett Till. I look at your son, and he is my son. He is all of our sons. Right. And so anything that we can do to support you, by all means, please do reach out to us.
Thank you.
I want to piggyback on what Marion said, that when we come together in settings like this, and when we work together to change our system, that's when our system will be changed. And we understand the history of our system. We have to know the history of our system, because our system is working the way that it was designed to work. And until we voice it, and until we begin to talk about it, until we begin to shout and cry out about it, nothing is going to change. And one of the things that we can do, and we want to encourage you to do, is to never go back to normalism. Never go back to the way that things were. You have to continue to fight no matter what it feels like. Like Marion was saying, you know, she's been on this battle probably the longest than any of us in this room. I've been on it for 15 years. She's been on it for 25 years. But we've embraced each other. We've supported each other. You know, we've called each other. We've cried with each other. And many of you in here, we've done that with. And so we have to continue this movement going forward and say, even when we don't feel like coming, or we don't feel like getting together, we have to make it a challenge within ourselves to get up and fight. Even if you're saying you're not fighting for your child anymore, you're fighting for your sister or your brother's child. If there is no more questions, I want to call our next panelist up. And our next panelist will talk to us about one of the comments that Angela made. They will talk to us about that comment with what happened with her son. Her son did not die in the encounter with the police physically, but he died mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And many times we have categorized PTSD in the sense of military people going into war, when in reality, many of our people today is facing the PTSD, the internal trauma from whatever their encounter was with those who have been hired to protect and serve, and with those who are in the community that's causing harm as well. And so we want to talk about that internal trauma from the perspective of our mental health expert, Gigi Crowder, who will come and share with us the definition of trauma and some other things about facing trauma.